Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Alliance. Of course, I'm your host, Clay, and with me in a very different setup today is, of course, Katie. Katie, how you doing today?
I'm good. I am no longer unemployed. I'm at my mother-in-law's for job training. So, yeah, a little bit different setup of how to do this from my phone. Um, but we're making it work. We gotta talk Star Wars. So,
Yes, we have not a lot of news, but we do have a topic that we wanted to kind of talk about just because we found something pretty interesting on Twitter the other day. So, before we jump into any and all of that, let's go ahead and, of course, do the GUA paperwork like we always do. Of course, Star Wars Alliance is a part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance network. What that means is that we are just a family of shows that come out 7 days a week. We have 8 shows, four on a bi weekly schedule and four on a regular weekly schedule. The four that are on a bi-weekly schedule, of course, is uh, Slice of Film with, of course, you coming back in April. Um,
yes.
there's some new developments with that show, I hear. I mean, you told me, but of course, I
Yes.
will leave it as a surprise for everybody else to
Well, I'll go
find
ahead
out
and
later.
tell people.
Oh, yeah.
I'll, I might as well. I mean, I'm in a different setup. Might as well like throw something out there. I will be having two rotating co-hosts join the show. One you've heard a lot from. Her name is Sarah. She has been on a couple different GUA shows, and I'm super glad to welcome her to the Slice of Film rotating staff. There will still be opportunities for like her to do a show on her own or like me to do a show on my own. But this gives me a more flexibility in having guests that I don't have to reach out to and go, hey, you want to come talk about a movie with me? I could just go, hey, what movie you want to talk about, Sarah? The other one that will be joining in the fun is Mark Tan, and he is the lead film editor for Full Circle Cinema. You've heard him on Slice of Film before, and he was also on the Geekverse Trivia.
Yes.
Um, so he will be joining in as well. He is a West Coaster, so he's perfect time for the Geekverse people. But he's great to talk to. So I hope you guys look forward to hearing from them. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's very, very exciting to have that come back in April. Of course, we also have um, World's Finest True Believers as well as a Ranger Alliance on Mondays. Go check out Ranger Alliance this week. Me and Joe talked a little bit about the possibility of Power Rangers as a franchise ending and having like a legit finale before they start their cinematic universe on Netflix. Talk some comics, and of course, our usual uh, season 2 wrap up stuff that we were doing. And then, of course, our last show on the bi weekly schedule is, of course, a walk through the multiverse with Joe. He recently reviewed the movie Uncharted, so go check that out. He does spoil some stuff, so you may want to go see the movie first and then listen to that episode. And then, of course, on our weekly schedule is DC Alliance, superhero discussions, Star Wars Alliance, us here, and then, of course, Marvel Alliance. Now, special note, by the time you guys are listening to this, a lot of the GUA has either already seen or is about to see the Batman. So I know a few of us have already seen it.
I have
Um,
not.
now, okay, so I may have gotten this mixed up. Are you still going to see it this
Yes,
week?
I'm seeing it Thursday night. Mickey, my brother-in-law, and I are going tomorrow night to
Okay.
see it at 7. I just when I got the job, I couldn't get to the fan showing because the fan showing, the closest one was in Charlotte, and it was sold out.
Okay.
So
Okay. All right. So I was not that far off. So does that mean are you still going to be able to make it to the review on Friday?
I don't think so.
Oh,
Um,
man.
so I'm disappointed because y'all know Batman is my favorite DC hero. But I may just have to, like sneak onto DC Alliance and we'll have like an after chat discussion
That
because
would be
I gotta
fun. I
talk
think
about
I
it.
think that would be
So
really, really fun. You are always welcome to join DC Alliance, of course. But we are going to be doing that review Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. There's going to be me, Travis Hines, Travis Snell, Chris Balga, and of course, Joe. We're all going to be there reviewing the Batman. I know that right now both Travises are kind of just like biting their nails right now, waiting for Friday or whatever, or waiting for Thursday, since they didn't have access to the fan events.
I thought they were
So
scan. I thought Travis, one of them was seeing it tonight.
oh, you know what? You know what? Hines is seeing it tonight. He is
Yeah.
seeing it tonight. I think he's getting out while we record this actually. And then we're going to be recording Superman and Lois. And then after Superman and Lois, we're actually going to be working out our review questions and getting all of that lined up for everybody on Friday. So that'll be very, very fun. And then, of course, we do have a Patreon. This is an ad supported network as well as listener supported. So we will have ads in this show. So if you do not want these ads, of course, you can always join us here on Star Wars Alliance or, Star Wars Alliance live on the Geek First YouTube channel, or you can give us $5 a month and you can have early access to these shows as well as the exclusive access to the exclusive Patreon content that is all on there. So, with that,
Real quick, Antilles has decided to join us. That's why I keep pointing the phone down because he has been so mad at me. I brought him and Matt kept Benny, and he has been so mad at me. He has not wanted to like come anywhere near me, and he's like over here cuddling. So I'm like taking documentation for later.
all right. So, I am setting up. I always take the notepad on my phone for when we do uh, ads because I don't have my laptop right in front of me. So,
Mhm.
real quick, the only real news that we have this week is something that we learned today. Um,
I mean, you said today, but I mean, everyone kind of like knew when it was published. It was like, are you sure about that?
yeah, we were all questioning it. And this isn't confirmation, but it's confirmation. Um,
Yeah.
the Bad Batch has been delayed. Um, but we are hearing from other sources that it won't be delayed for too long. So instead of spring, we may just get it in the summer. So,
I mean, I think that would work out because I mean, if you shoot more for a summer release, you could end up very much on the same path they were. Obviously, you're not going to overwrite with Obi-Wan Kenobi, but you could have a very good release still a year later for it. Because Andor is supposed to be July to September, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
yeah. And other than that, I was kind of looking around. There's nothing really to talk about, to be completely honest. But we did bring up something in uh, conversation throughout this week. You sent me a thread of people
Yeah,
that were making uh what is
and I'm
it?
gonna be
Fan
honest.
castings.
I was so excited to do this, and I have not had time to like do any of my own research. So, y'all, I have been so busy this week. Work has been insane. I'm in the Charlotte area for my new job, and traffic sucks. So, literally, have had no time to do anything. Like, I brought books to read, and I brought comics to read, and I've done none of it. So,
I finally got my copy. It is right there of Mission to Disaster. It finally came in.
woo! I
So
think
I
mine
have
is supposed to come
that.
in Friday. So,
Nice. But we're going to be talking about fan castings of the High Republic. Now, I have also been busy because if you guys heard on Ranger Alliance as well as DC Alliance, and I kind of alluded to it the
yeah.
last time I was on this show, but since I have told everybody of importance, I can now say it out loud. Um, I am going to be a dad. Abby is pregnant.
Woo!
and I have been running around with, like, it feels like I'm a chicken with its head cut off. Currently, unfortunately, Abby is in the morning sickness phase of
Mm,
pregnancy, and literally anything that can smell does smell. And because of that, she is like staying clear of the kitchen, staying clear of a lot of things. So I'm having to do, a lot of the stuff that she was normally doing. Not saying that, she belongs in the kitchen or anything. It was just, we always took turns cooking. And
yeah,
now it is literally making her sick. So I'm having to do a lot of that stuff. Anything with like soaps or detergent or anything like that is also getting her kind of like dizzy and nauseous and
yeah,
stuff. So I'm having to run the laundry, run the dishes, clean the dog, all sorts of stuff.
yeah.
So I I feel worn out already, and it's only been 2 weeks since we found out. 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I can't even remember. Days are bleeding together, and the baby's not even here yet. That's it's insane. But yeah, I got
Well,
this
let's push.
fancy new. Oh, what were you saying?
I would say let's push the fan casting for another episode, and we'll come back to that because the
Okay.
Eye of the Storm released today.
Yes, yes, it did, and we will review that instead. But I thought I was gonna debut this thing on uh, the Batman review, but I got this fancy looking light
Ooh,
display finally.
fancy.
I've had it since Christmas, or technically since my birthday. And I was like, I'm moving into the new apartment. I don't want to put it up, quite yet. We'll see how it goes. And since I have this fancy fireplace right behind me, I was able to move it all around there and stuff. So really, really fun. And then I changed the color of the theme with the show that I'm on. So Ranger
Woohoo!
Alliance has the like yellowish tint to the logo. So I do it yellow. DC Alliance I do blue. Ranger Alliance I do purple. Like it all works out. It's fun. I love it. And I know Snell is super butthurt because now I have LEDs just like him. Either way, let's jump into
Oh,
Eye
sorry.
of the Storm.
One,
Oh, well,
one,
go ahead.
one more thing, y'all, before we jump in, just to kind of get it out there. This weekend, if you are a Patreon exclusive subscriber, you should be getting 2 Star Wars specific episodes. Um, for the Patreon. One is Star Wars Legendary Conversations, where I go through Darth Plagueis, the 2 Darth Maul books, as well as Cloak of Deception, and I'll be going through those in chronological order. So very excited for that one. I'm finishing the edit on that, so that should be up this weekend. And then I'm very happy to announce this officially, because I've been keeping this secret because I didn't know if he was going to do this. But I got Matt to agree to record Star Wars canon comic book conversations because I suck at naming shows, y'all. So you're just stuck with it. Uh, so he and I went through the High Republic Marvel edition, issues 1 through 10. And so that should be up this weekend. Clay has graciously edited it for me, because stuff
It was
happened.
very fun
So,
to edit. I listened to the conversation. It sounds like Matt is really absorbing the content, which I
mhm,
am a big fan of that. I think it's really cool that he is enjoying himself, with getting to know all these characters and whatnot. So it was a lot of fun. You guys are in for a treat.
yeah.
For those of you who have that $5 tier on Patreon.
So,
So
anyways, I just wanted to say that since we're not gonna like go very long today, y'all. So I was like, go ahead and say it.
yeah.
So,
So, before we do, because we're not going to go very long today, let's go ahead and take our very first and possibly only ad break for the night.
probably only.
I know. Whenever I say that, I always need to do a second one, but I'm putting it down in the sand, drawing the line. We're only going to need this one. So, Guys, we do not choose these ads. We don't choose how many times they repeat themselves if they do. And we do not choose the volume. So it may be a little loud. Go ahead and turn that down just a little bit. And we will be back right after this. And we are back.
Also, I just have to compliment you live on the show. The haircut is looking snazzy. The
I
Hitler stash, however.
hey, you don't hit fatherhood until you hit the Ned Flanders, So I was like, I might as well, just take it out for a ride, see how it's going, see if there's any compliments or whatnot. Um, but no, I cut my hair. I again, I have been running around with my head cut off, and I was just like, you know what? I'm having a midlife crisis. I need something that I can control. I can control how short my hair is. And I sat down in the chair at the sports clips. And the stylist had the clippers and she turned them on and they were going. And I like closed like one eye and I like winced and I was like, okay, do it. And they're like, we cannot do it. Are you okay? Like you can choose not to do this. And I was just like, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. So they grabbed like a clump of my hair and they just went zoom. And I was like, okay, I can't go back now. Like I just like I can't. So I sat there for 45 minutes for the entire length that it took to cut all of that
Wow.
hair. It was a lot. It was a lot. 15 months I had that hair grown out and now it's all gone. So we'll I
May it
might
rest
grow
in
it back out.
peace.
I may grow it back out, but I don't know. Flynn, it was so disgusting. I lay down for bed after watching the Batman last night, and it was like the first time Flynn had seen me with literally no hair because he's only known me with long hair since I got him. He spent literally 30 minutes of me laying down just licking my scalp. It was absolutely disgusting and he would not stop. It was aggressive. I was like, bro, leave me alone. I'm trying to sleep. But he would not stop. So, Eye of the Storm.
Mhm.
This was a very important issue per Charles Soule. He was like, hey, this is concluding phase one of the High Republic. So you need to read it after you read everything else. Mission to Disaster, High
Mhm.
Republic number 13, everything. Or was it 15? 15,
Yeah,
right?
15.
15.
Because 13 is High Republic Adventures.
Yes. And so like I was like, okay, what's going on here? What is this all going to be about? And we said it before. We didn't review issue 1, but we talked a little bit about it.
Yeah.
And really the only thing issue 1 is a backstory of Marcion Rowe.
Yeah.
Like that's basically it. We get a little sneak peek of his father and how that relationship went and everything else. But this is like the Marcion Rowe that we all know. So issue 2.
And I'm going to go ahead and say it. I was not impressed with what was going on until the last part, the second to last part, I think. Y'all, I only got to read it once because again, busy. So,
I
um,
just finished it, so
but when he and I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I mean it's only 28 pages, so it's not that long. Um, but the gravity field where he sets it up around 10 systems.
mhm.
Oh my gosh, I screamed. I
So
was
I had
so
no
excited.
idea because I hadn't finished it yet. And you sent me this link. You said, don't
Mhm.
read this until you finish Eye of the Storm. And I was like, okay. But I was under Wi Fi and the images immediately loaded.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is that?
I'm
What
sorry I
am I
spoiled
about to
it.
read? And so I like I said, I just finished it before we started recording, and so I clicked on the link, and I'll be honest, I'm a little lost. Katie, what is this? Explain to me. What is
So
this?
what the link I sent Clay y'all is the Wikipedia for the interdiction field. And the interdiction field was used, I don't know if it has any current canon references, but it was used in the Legends Attack on Corellia trilogy. Um, and basically in the Legends series, um, Corellia is like, no one needs to come near us. We're going to put this up. And they basically put up a stasis field, and the interdiction field, this is very different from how Soul and the creative team have chosen to like describe what happened in Eye of the Storm. But the interdiction field basically had an electrical impulse that only interacted with hyperdrives. And so basically, anytime a hyperdrive was turned on and it was in this field, it deactivated it immediately. So it dropped you out of hyperspace. It prevented you from going into hyperspace, the whole shebang.
Yeah, so I am looking right now on the Wikipedia. It says here appearances: Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars The Old Republic, Galactic Starfighter, Secrets of the Jedi, Star Wars Empire at War, Thrawn Trilogy, Before the Storm, Shields of Lies, Tyrant's Test, Ambush at Corellia, Assault at Celonia,
Yeah.
Shadow Point, or Showdown, sorry, at Center Point, New Jedi Order, and Legacy 28. So there is no current canon appearance of this.
Well, so Wikipedia separates things differently. So if it has a canon and legends appearance, it has a canon and legends tab at the top. So if it has both of those, then it's made an appearance in canon.
Okay. Oh, there is a Legends tab. Or a canon tab. And appearances would be Tarkin and Star Wars Rebels.
Oh, I think I remember it in Rebels. I don't remember it in Tarkin though.
I
I'll have to go
don't
back and look.
remember it in Rebels.
So okay, so the interdiction field, I was under the impression I was like, oh, I love this because the Corellian trilogy, the Attack on Corellia, is one of my favorite trilogies in Legends. Y'all, just being honest, the whole like New Republic era of Legends is like my favorite because there's some really good trilogies in there. But this trilogy has Han confront a lot of his past, and it just dives really deep into his heritage. Um, I believe this is also where he meets with Boba Fett, and Boba Fett goes, "I'm done tracking you," because he had been like working at the bounty on Han for 20 years at this point, and was like, "I'm done. I give up." Friends, and they both shook on it. We're like, "Okay, bye." So don't quote me on that because it's been a while since I've read this, but I love this one. And so I was like, oh my gosh, it's an interdiction field. Like, Soul has made my day. I'm gonna have to go look at Tarkin and Rebels now to like find out which episode and like where it's at in Tarkin. Because this appearance of whatever this field is, it's just gravity generators. And what does he call it? It's um they're like spheres or something. I can't pull the comic up because I'm on my phone, y'all. I'm sorry.
Yep, I am trying to pull it up right now. He calls them. Let me see here. This was a wild book, by the way, guys. Um, well, shoot. I do not see it. Do you remember where he was saying it?
It's when he announces it, so it's like at the beginning of one of the parts. But he's like, thanks to the martyr Chancey Yarrow and her Gravity Heart project, we can do this.
Oh,
And
that's right. That's right.
y'all, they block off 10 systems with this. An interdiction field only blocked off uh one system, at least from what I've read. So,
Hmm.
uh, but I I was, and I was so excited. But when ships enter this field to go into those systems, um, at hyperdrive speed, the ships are destroyed.
Yeah.
So they're not just like stopped; they're full on destroyed. I think there's, I think you can still travel by sublight through this field, but you can't go through hyperspace, and it like full on destroys it. So I'm wondering now, because Tarkin and Rebels is after this, so what prevents them from just using this versus the interdiction field where ships just stop? So I'm curious. I'm gonna have to look this up, y'all. Speaking of Rebels, by the way, next week will be our Rebels Remembered episode. So Clay and I will work out the schedule and what we're going to talk about and everything. Because I'm going to plan that episode. So we'll have like a full list of topics and everything. So, but anyways.
So, what were you really expecting when, because Soul was putting a lot into, like, hey, this is going to be a really big
Mhm.
issue. Like, what exactly were you expecting personally?
So the big thing in this, right, is that this is the cliffhanger for phase one of the High Republic.
Hmm.
Like, and you can say Bury is a cliffhanger, and you could say, have you read 15 yet for High Republic?
No, 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 no. It's.
Okay.
I wanted to read this one first. I was like, I know I'm not supposed to, but I want to read this one. So,
Okay, so I won't say that one. But like People in Midnight Horizon, Bury, um, Vernestra, like we don't know several of the characters' fates. And to me, those are unfinished stories because we're like, okay, what happened to them? Are they alive? Are they dead? This is unacceptable. Um, Buckets of Blood in Trail of Shadows 5. Like,
yeah.
it's very sad. Um, so it's like I'm super frustrated with the amount of quote unquote cliffhangers we're getting, but this one feels like a true cliffhanger because you're like, okay, the Nihil are in these 10 systems. What what the heck are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? And the Republic Defense Coalition admiral, he's like, oh, the Jedi are running scared. Like, nobody has to worry about this because if the Jedi are running scared, then at least I'm gonna go do this. And he like full on blows up. Like, cool. Because, like, and the Grand Masters are like, we're not scared, but there's no use in sending people to die for what we
And
have
that
no idea
that
what's
was
going
that
on.
was something that I I'm glad that they're finally realizing,
Hmm.
oh shit, that there is something that is literally only attacking us.
Yeah.
And of course, this would be technically the aftermath of Fallen Star.
Yeah.
So of course you have Elzar Mann, saying like this is what they were feeling, and
Hmm.
then all of a sudden they're down and out, they're dead.
Well,
So
and you
the
have Imric from Trail of Shadows. He was on uh he was on Starlight as it was collapsing and managed to escape with a set of younglings. But
Mhm.
like he has Professor Underwood or Dr. Underwood who was working with Mark Rowe, and Underwood full on told him, "Oh yeah, this is they're called the Nameless. They do this. They used to be called Shrika Rai, which if you look back into like Trail of Shadows 1, I think, or maybe it's Trail of Shadows 2, but Stellan and Imric are literally singing this lullaby from the
Yes, and that's
Creech.
also in the books as well.
Yeah. And they're singing this, and Shrika Rai is actually the name of these beasts. So I'm curious to see if 150 years in the past, if we're gonna get the backstory of the Nameless Markion Rose family, and like do all that.
Ooh.
Because honestly, I don't see any other reason to go 150 years in the past. There's been several key points. Like Midnight Horizon has certain like callbacks.
Well,
Um,
we will finally get like a real story
yeah.
with what's her name who has the that was captured and was giving them the routes.
Oh yeah. Mari Santeka.
Yeah, Senteca. Yeah. Like I am sure she is over 150 years old. So
Yeah,
I'm sure we're going to get that story
we
of
have to.
either how she was captured or what gave her this insight of these uh galactic routes. So I'm 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 I am down for anything High Republic. Now I am still like a little anxious after like everything that is happening at the end of phase one to be like, okay, I need to
Mhm.
know what happens next. And they're like, well, about that, and we're
Because
moving backward.
yeah, and I'm super anxious about Vernestra because Vernestra so far has been like my favorite character. And Mission to Disaster happens before the Fallen Star completely,
Hmm.
completely. Like there is no crossover, and we don't get anything in the Fallen Star. We don't get anything in Midnight Horizon. Nothing in the comic. Well, you get one thing, but like there's no like clear answer.
Hmm.
So I'm super frustrated. Obviously Burry is really upsetting. Um, one of the ones in 15 like absolutely broke my heart. Like I cried this morning.
Oh,
So
geez. I'm gonna have to read it then. I definitely have to read it. And you just reminded me of Buryaga. Like it's like, God damn it. Oh man. And
so
and Bell, like him like basically going on to this journey of like thinking,
mhm.
hey, I'm gonna go find Burry, and we don't know how that's going to end.
Yeah. And another thing where I was frustrated with Eye of the Storm is I can't remember his name, but the crazy tentacle guy.
At the beginning,
Yeah, the Jedi.
yes, his name is Master uh Ubratuk.
This
Obratuk.
okay. So that guy, it is super unclear where he got captured. And y'all, granted, I have not read the High Republic Adventures 8 through 13. Matt actually texted me yesterday. I was like, "Oh, your comic books are here." And I was like, "Great! I know what I'm doing this weekend." Um, so maybe he gets captured in that. But this is another one of my big complaints with the High Republic is they're like each of these stories are supposed to be independent from another. But all of a sudden you have this
Yes.
master come in and he's like super valuable to Markion. And you're like, okay, this guy's supposed to be all powerful because Markion captured him. How did he get here?
And
Why is
and
he important?
that is a problem. That is a problem because for one, this is kind of the same problem that I had with Fallen Star, with the whole idea of like, oh, we had a lot of Jedi
Mm-hmm.
die, and we didn't know anything about them. Like,
Yeah,
granted, I know that there's a lot of Jedi out there, and I can't know every single one, but like they kind of just left them off to the wayside to be like, oh, there's these casualties, and there's also Jedi. And for this individual to come in very prominent in the beginning and the ending of this issue to make it seem like he is of somewhat importance, how do I know that?
yeah,
Unless I am current on every Star Wars comic, which unfortunately we cannot do because I mean, I know that you're getting more into reading the review copies because we are fortunate enough to be able to do that. But overall, you're collecting trades, which have
yeah.
them collected. So it means that they all have to come out first for them to be collected.
And
So
we aren't getting the IDW uh,
yeah, no, we
advanced
we
copies.
we we are not
So the High Republic Adventures, we haven't been able to touch really. And so 8 through 13 and the Bake Off and the annual and the free comic book day copy, those have all been I've been waiting to see those in trades. And like because IDW's lost the Star Wars license, it has not been confirmed anywhere, but basically IDW stopped like no more IDW comics for Star Wars.
Yeah.
So like and because they've released pretty much everything for phase one of or wave one of phase two, and
Now
IDW's not mentioned anywhere.
there may be a chance. It really depends on what Star Wars decides to do, but there may be a chance that um, Dark Horse will reprint those,
Yep.
possibly, but not in single issue form. It would be in a collective format. So,
And
uh,
honestly, I'd probably get an omnibus of those and then just donate my trades and my single issues. Sorry,
yeah.
y'all, I'm trying to drink water. um, and I just donate those to my library.
Yeah. I think that it would be a smart thing to do, especially with Star Wars having the High Republic be a um, what is it called, a avenue that they're looking to do long term.
Hmm.
I think it would be smart for Dark Horse to reprint those to have people jump into the High Republic and be like,
Yeah,
okay, well, where do I go from here? Oh, what about this story? And they not be able to find it. Oh, well, Dark
yeah.
Horse now has it. So I think it would be smart for them to do.
And like I know a lot of people are waiting like specifically for the omnibuses for comics because I mean, like collecting these things is still a lot of room.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of take it all like where you want to take it. So but definitely cannot recommend High Republic Marvel enough. I'm still very iffy on Eye of the Storm, and y'all, I know we are supposed to be reviewing Eye of the Storm. We just got all over the place. Um,
Yeah, and I mean, we are still reviewing it. There's just
mhm,
we're jumping, like you said, we're going all over the place here. We talked about how, like you said, there's this Jedi Master that Markion has captured. Doesn't end well for him. We get a little bit more of that backstory. Um,
and particularly, I liked most of the art in this, but when they went to the planet of the Nameless,
it
that
get
art
it
was
got
terrible.
it
I
got wonky. I did not enjoy it at all. Um, it it veered away from what the art really was in the first like few
yeah,
pages. I don't know why they decided to have like this fantastical look to it. With like all the
it really looked wonky.
rainbows and everything else. It was a very odd artistic choice.
Mhm,
But
for sure.
n- n- the planet that the nameless live on, it is like a living planet.
Mhm,
The only thing that I can relate it to is in the lore of Green Lanterns, there is a planet called Oa, and he is a living planet. He is able to talk. He can like grow the earth basically however he means to do it. And this is basically how this planet is. And it reacts to Markion landing on it, Markion attacking it. And through, like, it was very confusing because the panel progression just didn't really explain it all that well. He, like, did something, doesn't really
mhm,
say what it is, but he did something. He's like, oh, by the way, the planet's going to react to this. But it doesn't show what he did.
yeah, and like especially because the Rising Storm was what we get the first Nameless in, but my guess is that that one had been transported there and then frozen because it did so much damage or whatever. But they had the staff to control it because, and you see the staff in this, which is kind of cool. I can
Mhm.
give it that. But for how much I've liked Soul's storytelling in the other comics, I still love you, Soul. Like other than the semi interdiction field thing, Eye of the Storm did not really please what I
I
was
was
looking
gonna say,
for in
I feel like
storytelling.
this may have, and it might have, to be completely honest, it may have been rushed.
Yeah.
I think that's probably why the art was the way that it is, because this artist, there's not a whole lot of detail in how
Hmm.
they, do facial structure and all of this. So it's really easy for them to just be like, boom, boom, boom. Okay, here's some background. Okay, here's a whole lot of lines that, are like the wind gusts
Yeah.
and all of this. And you're just throwing us, basically just random colors in some of those panels and you're done. Um, Overall, though, it shows because one of the bigger things is after they get the nameless. There's one of
Hmm.
the Nihil that's like, okay, so what now? Like, what is your motivation? Why are you doing this? Like, we used to just be pirates. We used to raid ships, and now we're freaking trying to take over the galaxy. Like, what's going on here? And I love the
Yeah.
inner dialogue there. You know,
Yeah.
if he was in his right mind, he would easily say, "Oh, we're doing this because of I'm not letting anybody control me any longer, blah 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 blah."
Yeah.
But then it moves on to, like, I guess however long time had passed, and he's in a much bigger crowd, and the fall of Starlit Beacon happened and everything else, and so he's like, somebody once asked me, why do I do this? And he kind of spews off this, I think, BS answer. I
He
don't think
does.
it's
Yeah.
I don't think it's the right answer to what he truly feels. And he's just like, "Oh, we I wanted to be free and I wanted the Nihil to be free and I wanted the same opportunity for everybody else to live in the same exact way that the Nihil does without the Republic and the Jedi governing us and
Yeah.
all of this other BS." And then it shows him at the end with the Master Jedi, and you see the Nameless just like kill him, turn him into dust, freaking Thanos' ass.
Yeah.
And he's basically like, "Oh, this is all just for me." Like, and I love
I don't know if I
Marchion.
can. I don't know if I can
I
accept that answer.
I know it's like that's the thing though. I love him for how evil and how like much I want to punch his face for what he's done to some of these Jedi that I absolutely love. But like I'm not getting anything now. I think we will get a lot more via the novels
Yeah.
because I hate to say when he's right, but Snell always says it's canon until it's not canon, right? So you'll get a
Yeah.
comic and be like, "Oh, yeah, they said it's canon," but comics can, be overwritten by novels. And the novels
Well,
are canon until a movie overwrites that canon, you know?
and I think it's fair to say that again, it's about the perspective that matters. So I think if phase three comes around, I think it's called the Truth of the Jedi or something.
Mhm.
Um, and phase three comes around and it's 5 years after this, maybe Mark Young's had a change of heart. And I think you can explain that way. If we were to get a book that's covering the same time as Eye of the Storm, I'd be pissed about that. But I think if you progress and you're like, oh, okay, I've changed my opinion on this and it's no longer for me, it's because the Jedi hurt my family. Because he has like this vendetta against the Jedi, and it's not really described anywhere.
Yeah.
It's it's very frustrating because he's like, oh yeah, the Jedi have hurt me and my family, so it's time for them to feel the same payback. And it's like Soul said this comic was going to tell the story of Mark Young Rowe.
Now we
And I
still
feel
have
like
one more
that's missing from
issue.
that.
We still have one
No,
more
this is
issue.
it.
There's only 2 issues?
Yeah, this is it.
Oh, because it said this concludes phase 1. I thought there was 3. What the fuck?
It's only two.
God damn it. Jesus.
So
See,
I
that's disappointing. Because in my mind, I
yeah.
was like, well, at least we'll get like a third. And then it just dawned on me, wait, it did say conclusion of phase one.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
So I'm really frustrated with what we're expected to expect from the
Yeah.
High Republic with all these loose storytelling, all these loose stories still occurring. I think, just being honest, I think if they hadn't stated that High Republic was going back in time 150 years, I think you would get a much better reaction from this because people are expecting, okay, we're not going to hear from these characters for over a year, maybe 2 years at least. And now all of a sudden, where's this character? Like we need to be able to have some sort of comfort in knowing, okay, this character is officially dead, and not going, is this character dead? I think that's
Yeah.
unacceptable for a specific era of storytelling. And I've loved these novels, y'all. I've loved them. I, but you have to be able to critique stuff you love. So
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
I
But
think that's all my opinions on the
yeah,
comic book.
I was gonna say I think that's really all that we have. I think that overall, phase one was a hit.
Hmm.
Um, we're very excited to move forward from phase one, but we're not really getting that. We're going to be moving backward, which I still have no problem with. I'm curious to see how that starts and if there is going to be a sense of familiarity, or are we just going to be dropped into completely new territory, kind of like what we were with with High Republic to begin with.
Yeah, and we've still got characters from this era of High Republic that we're going to be talking to. There's one in particular in the High Republic Adventures. We'll be going back and seeing her as a Padawan. Porter Ingle, the Blade of Bardotta. We're going to be getting a full-blown comic from Charles Soule on him. Yoda obviously will be around. And then I think there was a couple others. Like we're gonna be getting Maz Kanata.
Yeah.
Um, and so characters, there will be characters that will be familiar, but we're going to be getting some other ones as well. Um, so I think the next planned iteration for more High Republic Phase 2 um, stuff will be at Star Wars Celebration in May.
Mhm.
So we'll be getting Obi-Wan Kenobi that week as well as the High Republic stuff. So very excited for that.
Yes, very, very, very excited. But Kate, where can they find you? Where can the audience, if anybody is new listening to our podcast, where can they find you?
Yes, if you're new, if you liked this, don't forget to go review us on your podcatcher of choice for our solo feed, Star Wars Alliance. Um, but you can find me on Twitter. It's at Slice of Katie. If you're on YouTube, it's right below, so you can read it. And Clay tends to try and put it in the description box, and I try to put it in the description box too. This podcast you can find on Twitter. It's at Star Wars Alliance without the A in the wars. Very important. Don't forget it. You can check back this weekend on that Twitter page for our topics for Star Wars Rebels Remembered episode. And then my other podcast where you're going to be getting some flashback. I need to go publish my Batman 89 stuff for the Batman, capitalize on some listens. But that podcast is on Twitter. It's at Slice of Film One. Would very appreciate if you go follow both because that is really where we promote our stuff. The reviews on your podcatcher, put it into the feeds of others who aren't following us on social media so they can find us. And yeah, do the YouTube things. Like, comment, subscribe. We're always here every Wednesday. So
Leave listener questions and whatnot. We will answer them.
yes.
Um, And of course, you can always find me at Fanboy Clay on Twitter. The link tree in the bio there gives you all the links to the shows that I host, that including DC Alliance, Batman News Weekly, Ranger Alliance, and of course, Star Wars Alliance. Now, thank you again for being here, listening to the show, and we will be back next week to talk about fan castings of the High Republic. I will make sure to do some research.
Rebels Remembered.
Oh, and Rebels Remembered. Yes,
We're probably
Rebels
just gonna do
Remembered.
Rebels Remembered, and we'll do
The
fan
fan
casting.
casting, yeah, because that's gonna take a while. I've been thinking about who I want for some characters. I'm just like, I can't think of anything. Um, but thank you guys, and we will see you guys next week.